Hello, hello, hello. All right, so I'm guessing you can all see me. I'm guessing you can all hear me. Give me a thumbs up, let me know. Wouldn't be a live stream without me and my giant mug of tea, huh? D Will, hey, 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 hey. Lovely to have you. Thank you for being here. So, if you guys could just let me know that you can definitely hear me and see me, and can you see the chart wheel? Ha! Alright. Let me just gonna share this to the group or to the Radiant Reality Facebook page. And we will get started. We'll get straight into it. Hey, hey, hey. What's up, Karen? How you doing? Come on. All right. Link below. Heidi, hello, how are you? Zamruf Nisha, we can hear and see you clearly. Excellent. All right, love it. Great. Thank you very much for letting me know that. All right, so we're going to get straight into it. Oh, 1 second. We almost forgot the trusty notes. The notes are like really, really important here. All right, so thank you for being here. It really means a lot. All right, so here we are on the next part, or the next installment, or the next segment of the Love in Luna series. So as a part of this, I am launching my Kickstarter, as many of you know at this point, and I will be talking about, sorry, 1 second, where are you? I'm looking for this. All right, so what I'm putting here in the description bar is the link to my Kickstarter. You can get a whole bunch of amazing goodies, moon calendars that I've created, tarot calendars. So if you've ever thought, I'd like a card pull for every day from Raf, you can get that as part of that. So hit the link that I've just put in the chat there, and you will be able to see all of the amazing goodies. If you want to get a reading, I'm not doing them at the moment as a part of this. So if you want to get a reading, you can get one at a really, really discounted price. Hit the link in the description, or the one that I've just posted in there. So yeah, and also if you've ever wanted to learn tarot, and many of you that have asked over the last 2 years, really, I finally plucked up the courage, pulled my finger out, and created a course for you. And it's 12 weeks. It's not just a bunch of videos. This is literally me taking you from beginner right the way through, and you can learn tarot till your heart's content with me. And I think I've provided everything that you need to go from sort of a beginner right through to being able to read for people. So with that said, content is about to begin. Are you ready? Are you ready? So in her piece, love that. You're from New Jersey. Where are you guys from? Where are you hailing from? I know there's a couple of New Yorkers in there, Hizzy. So let me know where the rest of you guys are from. You love my shirt. Thank you very much. Means a lot. Okay. So in ancient astrology, the moon represented the mind, and it also represented the body, and it also represented fortune. And this is the reason we're going to be talking about, or why I've chosen to follow the moon over this whole series. And it's because the moon is changeable, just like your mind, just like your body, your hair growth cycle. It waxes and it wanes, and like we sleep and we rise. It literally, your entire being follows the cycles of the moon. That's why we're so attuned to it, and why why we feel like the moon really affects us so much. Love it, love it. Some awesome places here, by the way. Hi, Laurel. Lovely to have you. So we're going to be looking at the moon and tracking the moon via your mind, body, and spirit. So if you haven't seen any of the previous ones, that's kind of what we're doing here. So the moon is just coming. It was literally at 4 o'clock. The moon came into Aries. So I am in the UK. So I've used the London sort of chart wheel, and you can see there that the moon is literally at. Is that? Yeah, that's today. So you can see there that the moon is at 0 degrees of Aries. So this is a fiery moon. It's a powerful moon. And the condition, when you think about the condition of the moon, she's still in her waxing phase, right? So she's still moving towards that full moon cycle, which means she's continually grabbing and continually picking up speed, continually pulling in more energy until she gets to that full moon point, which when we get to Gemini, we're going to be seeing that lunar eclipse, right? So we'll be talking about that when it comes up as well. But this is a fiery moon. It's a powerful moon, and it's forceful in the way that it's set, in the way that it's going to present itself, because it's in that waxing phase. And this is another reason as well. So you might find over this time that you feel more active, that you feel like you want to do things, or you want to push ahead with something, or you've got maybe more energy in some ways, or maybe one of the ways that this can manifest as well is that you feel like maybe you have too much energy, or you just want to charge ahead with something. And because of this moon as well, we might all feel like engaging more in things. We might even feel a bit more combative, especially with the moon in Aries. Absolutely, right? We could be more active, more combative. We might be really feeling, this is a really good moon as well. The moon coming through Aries can make us brave. It can make us really feel like, what? I feel brave enough to speak up. I feel brave enough to speak my truth, or to speak my mind, or to, to have it out with somebody even. So if you find yourself kind of in that energy, just remember, okay, moon's in Aries over the next couple of days. We're all going to be feeling a little bit more feisty with it. All right, because the moon affects your mood, it affects your body, it affects the water in your body. One of the things that I always used to say when I was younger, when people used to say like, oh, I don't believe in astrology, man, and it's like, okay, well, the moon controls all of the water on the planet. And human beings are made up of, I don't know, about 70% of water. You can't tell me that is affecting the water, but it's not affecting us. Come on. Simple science kind of says that there's definitely going to be a bit more feeling to it than that. So yeah, this could be another time as well. And we might see this play out on the wider world stage. As the moon is in Aries, we might kind of see... This could be a time where we see people testing the boundaries. And I can see this here in the UK already. There's a lot of people kind of feeling, what? I'm not so happy about being locked down at the moment. So, we could definitely see a little bit of tension there, and could be like testing other people, or testing, the limits or the boundaries that we're kind of in at the moment. This also might be a time where you decide to finally go after something that you really want, something that you've really desired, something that you really have felt to yourself, what? I want to go in for this, or I want to get sort of doing this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to step forward with this. Moon in Aries is a good time to do that. It's a moon to get after it, right? This is a moon to act, to do things. So when it comes to our environment, we talk about our environment because the moon rules in ancient astrology the material world. So your environment is a part of that, right? The first and only home and environment that you're ever going to have is this, right? Your body. But the environment that your personal environment is in also counts for something. This could be a really good time for rearranging your space, especially if you feel kind of, hemmed in, or do you know what I mean? Like, this would be about creating more space for yourself. It could also see you making plans for or changing the home or something about it in order to get more space or to feel more freedom. So over this time, even if it is cold, you might feel like, maybe having the windows open, or even just doing home workouts. That could be something that you kind of put time and effort into at this time. Also, so as we talk about the light and the things that it brings, we need to talk about the shadows as well, right? So what are some of the shadows of the moon coming through Aries? Anger, aggression, disputing, refusing to be told something, refusing to hear the word no, maybe refusing to hear the word yes. Who knows? It just depends on where you're at with it on a personal level. This could make us more bossy, more forthright. It could make us more anxious as well, especially if we're not using that energy. It could also bring up, it could make us brutally honest as well, right? There's no subtlety with air. In fact, there's no subtlety with any of the with the fire signs, right? They're just Jen's been with us for a while, but I don't think they always have that name. It's just not, yeah, it's not very inviting. So you might want to think about that. Then obviously another thing, moon, right? So like literally the moon coming through Aries. This could be a time of passive aggression, where you feel a bit more irritable or a bit more annoyed about things or people. One thing that I definitely want to say to you with the moon coming through Aries, this very much is a use it or it will use you kind of energy. Hey, thanks for tuning in before bed. I hope you sleep well if you're heading off, but if you're staying, thanks for being here. So ways to use this time. Good time to do some workouts, good time to do some running or something movement based, something where you're moving the body, where you're moving the energy around the body, something where you can, because sometimes when you move your physical body, you can quiet the mind. It's like one of those things where, when you do something really monotonous with your hands, it allows your mind to kind of think. A good way to use this moon or to use this time would be to channel your anger and aggression at difficult tasks. If there's something that you find really challenging or really difficult to get started or to move ahead with, this is a great moon to kind of do that. Now it's, it is still in its waxing phase. So you've got that in your, Aries energy is very initiation based. So, if there's something that you struggle with or that is hard for you to do, usually use this moon through Aries transit because it's still growing. So that would really be a great way to use that energy, right? Push past how you feel to achieve, right? This could be a time where you can kind of try to find a way to channel whatever anger, aggression, annoyance, any of that. Focus it into something. Use that energy to push past something or to do with... You always say, speak your truth. I absolutely do. It's not... I think it's more a case of how people receive it. So just something for you to think about. But yeah, and in that same vein as well, you don't have to like what I say. You don't have to do what I do. You don't have to enjoy it. And you also don't have to be here. So I'll send you love either which way. But you know, take it how you will. Moon in Aries. I could, you know, I could have gone somewhere else with that. This would be a really good moon to restart a workout. You know, something maybe you've had to put it on hold or something like that. This would be a really great way for you to jump back into it, so to speak. This is a really good time to have it out with somebody. If there's something that you need to say or something that you need to speak on, this would be a really good time. Be direct but not rude. Be you know, be forthright but not forceful. And if you can channel that in the right way, you could really do well with it. Courage to pursue something you really want, right? So if there is something that you really want that you maybe have a little bit of fear around, or, you know, something kind of, ooh, you know, this could be a time where you could summon that bravery on an internal level and push past it to go after it. All right, so okay, so let's look at some of the aspects. Here we have the first wheel, the first chart wheel, right? And the moon is going to be sextiling Saturn today. And one of the ways that you can use that energy, it makes you determined, but it makes you focused. It's not just about throwing energy at something. Saturn tends to restrict things, right? But it also offers an energy of refinement. So this would be like, instead of, you know, picking up a rusty old, you know, piece of junk from the side and charging and screaming like, "Rah!" It would say, right, take the tool that you need, sharpen it, love it, treat it well, oil it, right? If you, whatever the tools are that you need, make the most or the best out of them. So Mars, the moon sextile in Saturn, because the moon is in Aries, it's taking whatever that determined energy is and it's kind of giving it a little bit of refinement to say, right, don't just come charging at it like a bull in a china shop. Think about what you're doing. Take time to enact this rather than just to react to something or to respond to something. So this is a really good day to channel your energy into something. Be productive in that regard. So then the moon is also going to be trining the sun. And the sun is in Sagittarius, newly in Sagittarius. So we're all feeling a little bit lighter after Scorpio season, we must admit, right? I love Scorpio season because I find that it always reveals stuff to us, you know, what we're ready to release or let go of. But it can be really heavy. And I have to say, Scorpio season is, I got a lot of memories attached to that time of year. So it's quite a hard space for me sometimes. All right, so yeah, moon trine in the sun. What we want and need might come together and we could be presented with a path that leads us to both of those things, which is really, really, you know, that's great. What an awesome energy. So as we get into the 25th, moving on to the day after, the moon kind of comes through that mid part of the sign of Aries. The moon's going to be trining the south node at this point, right? And this could be about us understanding what we need to let go of and how that actually helps. Because this is the thing, right? Nowadays it's like, you know, cancel culture, and it's like, yeah, you know, I'm getting rid of that, it doesn't serve me anymore. And, you know, we all use these kind of throwaway terms, but what does that actually mean? Well, with the moon trining the south node, it could, and it's a very wide trine, by the way, more like a whole sign. You know, there's quite a few degrees in between it, but it's very close to Mars, and Mars is definitely trying the south node, so we need to look at it. And I really kind of feel that this is a time where, yeah, we can be saying, you know what, this is time to release something, but it's going to show you not only what needs to be released, but what the result of that is. So you could get some really big insight into, you know, you could get some really big insight into, wow, okay, so you know, that hurt that I have from my teenage years, or that hurt that I have from a really, you know, dark, difficult period in my life, I can let that go. And here's what carrying it has taught me, but here's as far as it's going to take me. Like, there could be a big realization about that, and it could help change your belief structure around, you know, around life itself, really, and about how you feel on a day-to-day level. I have moon trine sun in my natal chart. Moon trine in the sun is a really beautiful aspect. It's a very growthful aspect as well. So, you know, you can use it in that way. So then the moon is going to conjunct Mars. So this is a little bit more terse, a little bit more tricky, right? And you know, it's going to move. So as we get into the 25th, over the course of that day, it's just going to keep going through. Do you know what I mean? We're going to see it kind of taking place over that sort of whole day. This could see us more able to express how we feel, but it might be kind of like, you know, I have to say how I feel. I have to get it out, and you might be so sort of charged on getting something out that you kind of maybe steamroll over someone or something. You know, this could be a day where a lot of people can maybe talk over each other, or, you know, find that they're not as able to listen as possible. So just something to think about. And then also feeling outspoken and protective and defensive. This could be a time where it's like, you know what, I'm passionate about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm passionate about what I believe, and I'm going to protect what I believe in, and I'm going to be really defensive about those things as well. So just, you know, stuff to be aware of. And then finally, on the 26th, this is where we're going to see, if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be the last square to these planets that we have. Am I lying now? I think I'm lying. No, because the moon's going to have to come through Cancer. So, yeah. No, so I don't think it quite will be. But I was going to say, I think this is it might be the last time that the moon comes through Aries, that we're going to see it squaring those planets in Capricorn, you know, the Saturn, Jupiter and Pluto. You know, once the Saturn and Jupiter come into Aquarius, it's only going to be those last two left. And that's going to be such a light, that last planet of Pluto left, rather. It's going to be such a lighter and brighter energy. So what this kind of says to me as well, as they come through this square, we could see on the wider world stage, we might see some more protesting. We might see people really start to rebel against the government, against some of the lockdown stuff that's still in place, against some of the, like here in the UK, we've just been told that we're getting a new tier system. And certainly on the 26th, we might see some real pushback or kickback against that. You know, we might see some people being a lot more sort of not unhinged. You know, we might just see a bit more upheaval around that. So just, you know, some general bits there of the astrology and how it might play out for all of us. Now we are going to get into the tarot, and we're going to look at the 12-fold path, as I call it. So let's do this. Oh no, that's my wall. Can you all see the zodiacal wheel? Can you all see the cards? I think you can. Just hey, Il, how you doing? Ooh, fancy, love it. So can you can all see that? Can you see it clearly? It looks like it's cut off a little bit there. Let me try that. Is that better? Let me do that. Let me see. I think that's better, isn't it? Okay. Okay. Better? I think that's better, isn't it? Sweet. Alright, nice one. Thank you, Cavman. Much appreciated. Alright, so let's get into it. Before we do start the zodiacal wheel again, I just want to say to all of you who have already checked out and, you know, backed my Kickstarter, you guys are amazing. I've literally had it up, I think, like 5 or 6 days. and it's already at 49%. I'm absolutely blown away, and it really means a lot to me that so many people have backed what I'm trying to achieve. So I just want to say a massive thank you so much for all of your support there. And just in case you want to check out my Kickstarter, the link is there. Last time, I promise I will keep it stum and we'll get into the cards. But I just want to say, yeah, thank you so much. I can't believe it. Like literally 50% of the way there already. And there's still like a month to go. So I'm bowled over and blown away. Thank you. All right. So for our tarot session, the moon is currently in the sign of Aries. So what we have here is the moon crossing the path of the Emperor. So that's as a taroic emblem, as the way that it kind of shows up there through the tarot. That's not severe, but the potential for it to be severe is definitely there. And the potential for it to be quite a heavy transit is definitely there. Remember, the Emperor as a card is all to do with... yeah, I'll get into that in just a moment. So the Emperor there, you know, is about the structure. It's about the law. It's about the rules, the regulations. It's the environment and the structure that we all have to operate within, right? And then you've got the moon card there, which is changeable, which needs to move. It needs to undulate and breathe and move and change, right? So we couple that with the Emperor card, and what we also start to see here is we could see issues around those things. We could see challenges around those things. And also, one of the things that also comes up here as well, this could see us really starting to understand where maybe our personal past or history, where maybe we followed the rules to our own detriment, or where maybe we haven't been as brave as we would like to be. These are all things that could come up over this time. And, you know, with the moon card as well, it could really start to see, or this transit could really reveal to you what you are afraid of, what you hold fear around, and how that fear is controlling you. That's the other thing with the Emperor card. It's a card of control, right? Okay, so that's the energy for the zodiacal wheel. For these readings, they are specifically for your ascendant. So when I start at Aries, we're going to go through the whole zodiac. We're going to be looking at your mind, body, and spirit, and the different aspects that kind of evolve or spill out of us as connected to those three aspects of self. All right, so these are relevant for your ascendant. You can definitely check out your moon sign. You can definitely check out your sun sign, and it may very well speak to you. But as we're following this and we're following the moon, when it comes to astrology, it's really important that you look at things through the guise of your ascendant, because that shows you what's happening on a day-to-day level. And because we're doing, you know, because we're following the moon or tracking the moon, that's really important, because we're talking about what happens on a day-to-day basis. And in order to answer your question, I waited till this moment. It's usually anywhere between 2 and 3 days. The moon moves very quickly. You know, it travels the zodiac sort of really, really fast. And it relates to, I'm not going to go into that because it's quite a complex sort of idea. But yeah, great. All right. So for, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you all, or us all, on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So for the first one out, Aries, in your mind as the moon comes through your sign, right? So if you're on an Aries ascendant, this is the moon moving through your, you know, through your sign, through your first house, basically. And so what you've got there is the Knight of Cups. So when it comes to your mind, you could be thinking about where it is that you want to reach out to people. This could see you really starting to put the feelers out already. It could see you kind of saying, yeah, you know what, let's do something different. In fact, you know what, I'm going to start reaching out to people and creating opportunities, not just for myself, but also for other people. I really like this as well, you know, because as the moon is moving through your sign, I think it's going to, it gets Aries people in touch with their feelings more. And it's not to say that you're disconnected from them, it just means that sometimes maybe they're not as close to the surface, so you kind of have to dig for it a bit. Whereas, you know, now you're going to be really proactive about creating something of a network for yourself and for other people. Your mood over these next couple of days is going to be fairly, I would say, fairly jovial. The Knight of Cups. One thing that I do want to say to you, if you're an Aries ascendant, try not to promise too much at this time, because you might get disheartened if you can't. Do you know what I mean? Like if you can't deliver what it is that you want to. And the insight that's there is that sometimes, in order for the things that we want to see in the world to be in the world, it's us that has to initiate that. For your body and your fortune, you have the Five of Swords. Okay, so not an easy card, but what do we say about this? The Five of Swords is about choosing your battles wisely. So when it comes to the body, if you decide, you know what, right, over these next few days I'm using this this Aries moon transit, I'm going to go back to running. You don't just go straight in and be like, right, that's it, I'm going back to running 5k a day, do you? No, of course not. You start slow and you build it up, but use that determined energy to do something with it, right? When it comes to your fortune, the Five of Swords, again, if you're building a network or you're reaching out to people or you're creating opportunities, this would be a really wise time for you to think about, does the budget that you have suit what you're trying to do? And if not, where can you adjust? Where is it that you need to adjust? And then when it comes to your instinct, this over these next few days, as the moon moves through your sign, Aries, you could really be in that space where you could feel an argument brewing, and if you can feel it come in, you can adjust accordingly, right? Use it in that way. This is why we do predictions when it comes to astrology, when it comes to tarot. This is the right, yeah, it's a very determined sign. My mum's an Aries. I have an Aries cousin. Two of my friends when I was in fact, for a very long time, two of my best friends were Aries, and they dated each other. And oh my gosh, you can imagine how fun that was at times. All right, so for the spirit, Aries, look at that. You have the Hanged Man, right? So take a moment to go inward. Take a moment to ask yourself, do my outward actions match what is actually available to me at this moment in time? And by asking yourself that, I think you'll really be able to make some headway with this moon. You know, use it proactively rather than kind of reactively. On a wisdom level, the Hanged Man asks you, what are you willing or prepared to pull, not even pull away from, but what are you willing or prepared to slow down with in order to build something from it? And then when it comes to your intuition, the Hanged Man is I kind of feel like this, as the moon comes through Aries, it's really going to show you this next sort of 2-3 day period is really going to reveal to you what that Mars retrograde was actually about for you. And I think it's going to do that for all of us. This is where I mean, I've already had some pretty big ones because for me it was in the 9th house, but I think this is going to be a time where whatever happened over that Mars retrograde period, now it's going to become relevant. Now it's going to be like, okay, that's what it was for. That's the reason. This is what I learned. This is what I'm consolidating. It's starting already, look. For Taurus, in the mind, you have the Justice card, right? So this is about you finally, Taurus, this is about you coming to that point of... not only a point of realization, but I think this is where you're going to make a final judgment call. This is where that decision that you've been deliberating on for the longest time, where maybe you have been kind of really trying to figure something out or really stressing over something that you wanted to know. This is where it's finally going to become, clear to you. This is where you're going to be able to move ahead with something. When it comes to your mood, what's the word? yeah, when it comes to your mood, this is, I mean, it could see you being very decisive or very indecisive. The choice kind of really is up to you. Now, remember, if you're a Taurus ascendant, I'm doing all of these from the Taurus, from the ascendant. If you're a Taurus ascendant, this means that the moon is going through your 12th house. This is going to see you making a very finite decision. It's going to be seeing something come to an end or a completion for you. So very, very powerful stuff. When it comes to your insight, this would be a time to really take a minute to ask yourself what decision is fair. Right, and I don't mean just for everybody else, I mean for you especially. This is one of the things we forget nowadays. It's like, oh, is this fair? Well, yes, 9 times out of 10 people make decisions that are fair for everybody else, but they forget to include themselves. The decisions that you're making now, Taurus, must be fair for you as well. Oh, thank you. Thanks for popping in. So, for your body, you have the Page of Swords. Right. So, Taurus, one thing that you need to know, whatever this Aries moon transit brings up for you at the moment, it may very well see a trend or a theme happening over these next couple of days that brings something up for next year in the time of Libra. So, where did I get that from? The time sequence, the Page of Swords coupled with the Justice card represents a time sequence. If you want to learn more about tarot and time sequences, you can join my course. Right, but on the body level, what this really shows you, yes, I'm using whole sign houses. So, on the body level for you, Taurus, this really asks you to get in touch with what your body feels comfortable doing, right? Whatever that looks like to you. So do you feel like running? Do you feel like doing yoga? Do you feel like feeding yourself well? These next couple of days, they're really going to highlight to you on an instinctual level what you need to start moving ahead with. On an instinct level, on a physical level, this is about really parenting your body. Right, you really want to start to parent your physical being. What does it need? What does it want? What is it asking from me? And then for your spirit, Taurus, you have the World card. Look at that, right? And the reason all of this is coming up for you is because you're ready for something new. You've got the World card in the spirit, and this suggests that there is something new that is trying to break into your life, a new cycle, a new era of who you are. You've just had a Mars, if you're a Taurus ascendant, you've just had Mars retrograde through your 12th house, going through the closet and really tearing it up. Like, let's get rid of this, let's get rid of that, it doesn't fit anymore. When it comes to wisdom, this is about you really delving into, not only your physical self or your physical wisdom, but it's also asking you to look at where you've already put the work in, where you've done the work, where you've given enough, where you've done enough, where you've shown up enough. And then for your intuition, this would be a time as the Mars goes through the... as Mars comes through the as the moon comes through Aries, this would be a time to pay attention to where it is that you're now ready for that next level. All right, so for Gemini, in your mind, you have the Knight of Wands. So this is about you charging off on a new journey at this moment in time. So for Geminis, in true Gemini fashion, this could be a time, right, where you're really very focused. Let's just, sorry guys, give me 1 second. Yeah. And then let me do there we go. In fact, I'm gonna make one of you a moderator if you don't mind. Tony, I'm gonna make you a moderator, and if you could just hold any spam or stupid comments because they're really distracting to me. That's my Aquarian nature is like, ooh, what's going on? So Gemini, this is about you charging off, right? This is about you getting into something new. Now, because it's in your mind sector, what this is really highlighting to you is where it is that you are ready to get into something new. So yes, studying something, but I think it goes deeper than that. I think this is more about you really starting to give rise to things that take you out of your comfort zone, right? So this next few days as the moon moves through Aries, this is going to see you saying to yourself, you know what, I'm going to do something that makes me uncomfortable. I want to get into something that really pulls me out of what I am used to or what I know. Your mood could be, could be quite jovial, it could be quite fun, but when it comes to your insight, this is about really going after new information, not just as like, Gemini's information, all the rest of it. This is about really stepping out of what you're aware of, right? What you're used to. For your body, you have the Nine of Cups. Beautiful, right? So this is great, actually. What it's going to give you, I feel like this is going to be either a connection or a piece of information that ends up becoming really relevant for you. And when it comes to your finances, this could be a piece of information that's given to you that makes all the difference, right? So maybe this would be one of those times where you're given a gem of knowledge, and it's like then somebody gives you the key of how to unlock that, what it actually means. So maybe the universe gives you a box, and then you meet someone or you have a conversation with someone and they give you the key to that box. That's probably the best metaphor that I can use. When it comes to your physical body or your fortune, we talked about that, but when it comes to your instinct, this is going to be a time as the moon comes through Aries where you might be very aware of what either yourself or somebody else needs as part of their healing journey. And that's a really powerful place to be. All right, and then for your spirit, Gemini, you have the Magician card. Of course you do, right? Look at that. This could be a really, as the moon comes through Aries, this could be a very powerful transit for you. When it comes to your intuition, this would be a time for you to really pay attention to any ideas that you have. It could also be a time as well where somebody kind of says something to you and you're able to take that and adjust it and make it better than that. Do you know what I mean? Like, so this could be where somebody, I don't know, gives you, let's say somebody gives you a piece of wood, and then by the time you're finished with it, it's like this amazing, elaborate, ornate, beautiful piece that you turn into, something completely different. And then when it comes to your intuition, this is really asking you to think about how you use your energy. When it comes to your mental energy, your spiritual energy, this is a time for you to really pay attention to what you do with your energy. Because whenever you see the Magician card, it really is about what we would call, superficial is probably a really crappy word actually, but what we call the more mundane magic, how you use that. All right, for Cancer, in the mind, look at that. You got the Chariot card. So feeling very strong, very vibrant and very powerful. As the moon comes through the sign of Aries, and it's kind of like a square energy to your sign, isn't it? But I think this is going to make you really, really powerful. I think over this time, it's going to really, I kind of get this idea that Cancers over this moon transit are going to look at something and say, you know what, I can see the finish line. I can see how this is going to shape up for me. I can see how this is going. If it's going where you want it to go, this is great. Stay on course, right? And moon in Aries, set that determination within you. If you can see it heading towards, actually, you know what, I can see where this is going and I really don't like it, course correct. This is the time for you to do that. It's the time for you to adjust it. Victory, success. This is the stuff that we see with the Chariot. But what we also see with the Chariot is because it's in your mind, right? So your mood over this sort of next few days could be very, very fast. All right, you might get sort of impatient because it's not happening as quick as you want it. Chariot card can sometimes speed things up on its own, let alone under the moon in Aries. So just something to be aware of. And then for your insight, This kind of suggests to me that the insights that you're looking for, that you need, they will come from other people. So if you can get out and about this next couple of days, do that. For your body, look at that, you got the King of Pentacles, so this is going to see you very focused on the money, on the work. For a lot of you, I think this is going to see you really starting to ask yourself what that next phase looks like when it comes to work, when it comes to the profession, when it comes to the money, when it comes to the fortune in your life. This is going to see you really asking yourself, what can I do? What is it that I've put in up until now, and what have the rewards been, and how can I further my ends or my goals or my or even fast track my results, right? Maybe not fast track, because you've got the that's interesting as well with the juxtaposition. The Chariot is like put pedal to the metal, and then the King of Pentacles is like, take your time, right? When it comes to your instinct, you could have a nose for what the next big thing is. You might get a feeling, and it will be literally like King of Pentacles, like a visceral feeling of what the next thing is going to be, what the what the next what the next big thing is going to be, or what the next trend is going to be. This could see you really tapping into that. And also, if you have any earth sign people, Taurus, Capricorn or Virgos in your life, speak to them, check in with them, because they might have a message for you. And when I say that, some people are like, oh, well, I don't know, like, and I kind of feel like they the way that they look at it is, it's almost like they check in with someone and they're like, right, I've got a message for you and I know what it is. It doesn't have to be that. Sometimes it's just connecting with somebody that has that earthy energy, and through the conversation that you have, maybe you just think, oh, okay, you know what, that speaks to something else in my life. So it might be something completely disconnected. So for your spirit, you have the Fool card. I think this is quite interesting, because if I'm not mistaken, when I did the moon through Pisces, Cancer also had this card there as well. So that's quite intriguing. New everything. A new influx of mind focused, not mind focused, a new influx of a new influx of insight could be coming in for you over this next sort of couple of days. And what this is going to highlight to you is that power that you can actually tap into, right? It's creative. It kind of gives you an ability to really think, okay, you know what does the cosmos want me to do, or create, or move ahead with? Do you know what I mean? Like it gives you that kind of, what's the word that I'm looking for? That flash of insight, right? That's the Fool card in and of itself. But here is, when it comes to your spirit, this could be you literally having some direct communication that comes in that really becomes relevant for you moving forward. When it comes to your intuition, this is a time where it could literally just be coming short and sharp. It just could be constant bursts of just knowing things, like boom, 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 boom. If that's the case and it's too much for you, just say to them, guys, can you slow it down? In the early days of doing all of this and, tapping into my intuition and delving into it, there were moments where it got really, really overwhelming. And where sometimes I kind of thought to myself, oh, maybe I'm getting this wrong, or do you know what I mean? And it was because I was afraid to trust myself. I was afraid to trust that intuitive hit that I got. But the more I worked with it, the more I trusted it, and the more I opened up to it, the easier it got. And there were times where I had to say to them, guys, it's too much information. I need you to slow it down. I need you to really be, I need you to be specific with what you want me to say. When you give me too much information, it's hard for me to focus. I'm happy to deliver whatever messages you want to give me, but give it to me in a stream. I'm in the human realm at the moment. Can you take a moment to just give me one piece at a time? Speak to whatever you perceive to be out there. And 9 times out of 10, they'll say, okay, you know what? Cool. We will chill it down. All right. So for Leo, in the mind, you have the 3 of Wands. It's all about expansion, right? And what I like about this is it gives you an outlook, right? It gives you an outlook that is expansive. It gives you an outlook that is growthful. What it's asking you for at this moment in time, and what it's highlighting to you in the mind is the biggest thing, the biggest tool that you have available to you that is so vast is this, right? It is your mind. This is a time to really play in that space, get into that mind space, dream as big as you dare. Over the next few days, as the moon comes through Aries, put your mind out there, think about it, right? What do I want to create? Where do I want to go? What do I want to welcome into my life? And more importantly, what are the results of the efforts that I've put in so far. This is a really good time to get real with yourself. So for you, Leo, Leo ascendant people, my ascendant brothers and sisters, this is a time for you to do that. When it comes to your insight, this could be you seeing something further down the line. This could be you tapping into that opposite energy of yours, like the Aquarius energy, where you see something in the future and you think, that could be very relevant eventually. Let me start putting some time and energy and focus into that now. When it comes to your body, look at that, right? And it's funny because the Queen of Wands literally represents the sign of Leo. So in the body, in the physical self, as the moon comes through Aries over these next few days, you could be really connected to your body. You could be really connected to your physical being. And you could also, you might find, I mean, one of the shadow sides of this is that you get really defensive or territorial. You know, this could be a time where that shows up, but it could also be a really powerful time where you kind of say, actually, you know what, let me put a boundary in place, or let me draw a circle around myself and the people that I care about. So do you know what I mean? So that I'm not protected, but yeah, maybe protected. Maybe that is the word that I was looking for. On an instinctual level, this is about finding that sexuality, that sensuality, and finding a way to work with that energy, finding a way to channel that and focus that into something. I know for me here in the UK, we're in lockdown at the moment, so they closed the gyms yet again. Which was really frustrating because I worked my butt off during the Mars retrograde season so that I could get to a certain place. So yeah, I think I'll be using this for that. And then yeah, for your spirit, Leo, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Love, right? Love it. Because that speaks to the harmonious energy that's taking place in the Sagittarius energy. So that, you know, because this card literally represents, the Wheel of Fortune represents Jupiter, which is obviously the planet that is ruled by Sagittarius. So what I really like about this for us is it kind of suggests that on a spiritual level, the message that's coming through for you over these next couple of days, you're going to get a little bit of a glimpse into what is shaping up for you behind the scenes. So it might not necessarily fully hit now, it might not all come at this moment in time, but it's definitely shaping up in the background. So don't get disheartened, right? Stay focused. When it comes to your intuition and your wisdom, this is a time to get out of your current mire and really, you know, project yourself out, right? Think bigger, think broader, think bolder. I don't know. I've never lived in Ireland, so not sure why, sweetie. For Virgo, in the mind, you have the World card. This is, and not in a bad way, because I'm really happy to see this. Virgos have gone through this massive transformation in 2020. I mean, everybody has, right? But I've seen kind of Virgos go from this, you know, I like being in my little hermit cave and I like just kind of doing my own thing, and from, okay, now I have plans for world domination. You know, not in a bad way, but I've seen Virgos go through this kind of metamorphosis, and this really suggests that these next few days, as the moon comes through Aries, the World card suggests that you're going to be making some of those bigger plans. You're going to be starting to put those cogs into motion. This is where you're going to start to really move ahead with some stuff, which is great, right? It's really, really phenomenal. I really like this for you guys. What it also suggests as well, on an insight level, you're going to be able to really start to understand, right? So this next couple of days is Virgo rising and moon. Wow. So your finger's going to be kind of plugged into the pulse this over these next couple of days. Pay attention to those, right? Okay, because it's just almost like you're going to know what people want and need, and that's always a good thing to know. For your body, you have the Fool card. All right, so whatever new ideas or energy comes into you over this next couple of days, this is about finding, and you know, Virgo's all about assimilation, right? So this is a perfect time for you to do that. The charger. If you were here on the first one, I had to really kind of motor it at the end because I, you know, the laptop, and it wouldn't fit, and it was like a whole thing. But yeah, what I really like about this, yeah, it is concerned with health, but it's more than that. Virgo's about service, it's about health, it's about the land, it's about the agriculture, you know, yes, Taurus is as well, but you know, it's about the flora and the fauna. It's about taking something and, you know, deconstructing it to its smallest parts so that it actually becomes relevant. It's not just about health, it's also about your how you make the macrocosm good for the microcosm. That's why it represents, you know, the digestive system as well in the physical body. And that Fool card, when it comes to your instincts over these next couple of days, Virgo, pay attention to what comes up, because you could be getting a real insight into something that ends up becoming really relevant for you, especially when it comes to your, you know, your bigger and bolder plans for the wider world, and the way that you show up there. I like this for you guys. I think it's great. And then for your Spirit card, you have the Faith card in this deck, which is actually the Hierophant. So there are, you know, whatever you guys are planning behind the scenes, the world is about to be run by Virgos. You know, whatever you're planning behind, you know, behind the scenes, or whatever it is that you're doing that could either turn you into a household name or could make you not more accessible, but more visible. You know, this is something that over these next couple of days you're going to be really focused on, which I love for you guys. For nearly Libra, in your mind you have the moon, right? So this makes a lot of sense to me, and I love the way that the tarot kind of mirrors the astrology sometimes. It's really, really potent, right? And what I like about this is the moon is currently in your opposite sign. So if you're a Libra ascendant, the moon is currently in Aries, which is in your 7th house, right? It's right at the opposite end of the zodiac. And the fact that you have the moon in your mind, this could be a time where you are thinking about partners. It could be a time where you are thinking about relationships, maybe past relationships, maybe relationships that were either challenging for you or not great for you, but ones that taught you something regardless. When it comes to your insight and your mood over these next couple of days, you could find that you're really in a space where you are very, not only very reflective, but you might find that you're in a space where the rose tinted glasses are coming off, right? This is going to be a time where you're now seeing things exactly as they were, not how you would like to remember them. And that's always a good space to be, you know, when you can admit, actually, you know what, as much as I love that person, or, you know, I thought it was great, actually it was awful. You learn from that, you grow from it. As an insight, this is going to be a time where you need to pay attention to your partnerships, your relationships. You need to pay attention to what actually nourishes you, what actually nurtures you in those ways and in those spaces. And also, if you are looking for a relationship or you're seeking a relationship, this could be a time that highlights to you what your fears are around those things and whether they're valid or not. For your body, you have the Knight of Pentacles. I like this because it gives you a very determined energy, and it's going to see you kind of saying to yourself, you know what, I need to slow this down, right? So for those of you that are just into new relationships, you may very much find that over the next couple of days, you're like, you know what, I think I've been charging ahead with this a little bit too fast, so let's slow it down a little bit. On a fortune level, this suggests that you are putting together some idea that is going to really not necessarily skyrocket your finances in the next couple of days, but okay, did you do 2 lives this morning? No. I did the moon in Pisces a couple of days ago, so you'll see them as they come up. If you hit the bell notification so that you can see the way that it kind of comes up. Libra, in your body, right, in your instinct, this is asking you what you really do feel attached to now. And with the moon card there in the mind, one of the things that you might be trying to do over these next couple of days, you might feel that something is pulling away or pulling apart, and you might be trying to convince yourself, oh, no, you know, the connection's there, so I have to have it. You know, whatever the answer is for you, I think over these next couple of days, something will really click into place and make a lot of sense for you. In your spirit, you have the Temperance card, right? So look at that. This is all about how you intuit the world through the spiritual guise. What this is really going to show you as well, with your Temperance card, this will see you where you are either overly giving or where you are, you know, where maybe you take too much. And this is the thing as well, you know, that is just a part of it. You know, we need to think about this. When it comes to connections, when it comes to relationships, sometimes the things that are highlighted to us, sometimes the things that we need to observe is where, like me, in general, I could talk the bloody ears off a donkey. I literally, I just don't shut up. So I always have to be aware in my relationships that, especially if my partner's not naturally talkative, that I don't take up the space all the time, that I make sure that I give that other person time to speak and to be. It's about being aware of yourself so that you can be aware of others. And this, your spirit card, in terms of your intuition, this could highlight that to you. And it might really reveal to you over these next couple of days where you're ready to either heal a relationship or heal from a relationship. That might really, come up for you. And I like that. I think certainly on a wisdom level, you might find as well, Libra, you might find over the next couple of days, young people reach out to you. So if you've got nieces, nephews, maybe your friends' kids, like if they need to talk to someone but they don't want to talk to mum and dad. Do you know what I mean? You could find somebody, young people reaching out to you for something. Now for Scorpio, in the mind, you have the King of Wands. So it looks like Scorpio got their mojo back and then some, right? So the moon moving through your sister or brother sign, whichever you want to call it, because the ruler of Scorpio and Mars and Aries is Mars, right? So as the moon comes through your sister or brother sign, you like very strong in the mind, very strong-willed. This is going to see you making a very decisive action or take, and it might not be an action. It might just be something that you say to yourself on a mind level. You could be feeling very headstrong over these next couple of days, and you might come to a conclusion and say, right, you know what, that thing that I had waiting around that was, I was kind of unsure about making a decision with, I've made that decision and I'm sticking with whatever it is that comes up. As an insight, this is going to reveal to you where you need to put yourself forward more, where you need to stop waiting for somebody else to validate you or to push you forward for something, and you just say, no, you know what, this is what I want, I'm going after it and I'm taking it. This next sort of few days as the moon comes through Aries might highlight that to you, where you need to be more forceful, where you need to go after something, where you need to stop waiting for somebody else to come to you and just get proactive about it, and you go to them and say, right, this is what I want, this is how we're moving forward, let's go for it. In your body, you have the Seven of Pentacles, right? So that's quite an interesting card to have there, considering you have the King of Wands. What this suggests to me is, on a body level, on a physical level, this is about you really making your health, your vitality, and also your, what's the word, your well-being a priority, and putting time and effort and energy into that, doing something nice for yourself, doing something that's not nice for you but is good for you, i.e., like a sports massage. Oh my gosh, you hate the therapist while they're giving you the treatment, but then about a day or two after, you're like, like I feel great. But at the time, it's like, oh, why? It hurts so much. When it comes to your fortune as well, this could see a lot of you really putting some tangible plans in place when it comes to your money, when it comes to the long term wants, needs, desires, goals, when it comes to your finances. This could be that time. And then for your instinct level, if you find over these next couple of days that your palate changes or your diet changes, it's just because that's your body telling you what you need. And then for your spirit card, you have the Judgment card. So something comes to an end, a completion, or a culmination. And what I like about this, sorry, I'm laughing at some of the comments. This is why I can't, from now on I'm going to have to hide them, because I'm terrible. My Aquarium brain is like, ooh, what's that? Everybody's talking, what's going on? FOMO. In the Spirit card, you have the Judgment card. So over these next couple of days, as the moon moves through Aries, Scorpio, you are either going to be completing something or ending something, or maybe culminating something. The Judgment card brings something to a head, and very often it sees us what's the word? It sees us really starting to, it sees us really gearing up for a big change. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that is it's kind of like the end of an era. The Judgment card is a very finality sort of card. So this is going to see you, really stepping into that. When it comes to your intuition over these next couple of days, this would be the time for you to tap into your past, tap into your heritage. The Judgment card is your ancestors. Especially on a spiritual level. So this would be a time to give something over to that. If you've got grandparents or uncles or aunts, sadly, hopefully not, but parents, siblings, if you've got them on the other side, speak to them, ask them to come to your aid, or even just ask them to send you a message to let you know that they're all right. And, that's the thing about spirit connection. A lot of people think, they're just there to serve us. Sometimes it's really nice just to say to them, look, you know what, I know you're not here anymore, but is there anything that you need? If you ever just want to speak to me, or if you ever just want to send me a message to let me know how you're doing, sometimes that's a really nice thing to do. As humans, we're very often in the habit of asking God for favors, but forgetting that God might need something from us. And I'm sorry to use that word. I know it's a very I know it's got very loaded connotations, but I use the all when I talk about that unknowable force that is in all things. I call it the all, because as a human being, how could I ever give words or names to something that is beyond what I could ever understand in this form? These are all for your ascendant, lovely. These are for your ascendant sign. And yeah, so I'm getting off topic now. For Sagittarius, in your mind, you have the Queen of Pentacles, right? So very focused on the very focused on the practicalities, or if you have a Queen of Pentacles, a Virgo, Taurus, or a Capricorn in your life, maybe you're very focused on them over this time. As the moon comes through Aries, your mood could be very sort of decisive. It could be very proactive at this moment in time. You could be really starting to look at the facts and figures. Maybe, this is a time where you could be really focused on the detail or the minutia of something, and this would be a really good place or a good moment to do that. When it comes to your insight as well, you could spot a trend or theme when it comes to the money or the materials over the next couple of days. So keep your mind open, if and as well, if you have an issue or a challenge or something to focus on when it comes to money, this would be a really good time to just kind of focus your mind on it and say, okay, well, that's the issue, that's the shortfall. What can I do about fixing that or changing that? And just let your mind or your insight kind of drift around to see what comes up. It might come externally. The answer to that might come externally. It might come from somebody, or maybe it comes from a Queen of Pentacles. Who knows? For your body, you have the Two of Pentacles. So it looks like these next couple of days, money, finances, resources are definitely to the fore. When it comes to your fortune over the next couple of days, this could see you really kind of saying to yourself, yep, you know what, I've already thought about this and I think it's time. This is about you making a very practical or grounded decision, but it's going to see you doing it in a way that almost, it's like you feel like this is the right path. It's not a case of knowing it so much, it's more a case of like a visceral feeling. Yes, I'm supposed to do this, that's the direction that I should go in. And what it's going to present you with as well is a very long-term path for your finances, or a solution for the long term when it comes to your money. On an instinctual level, it's literally that, right? It's feeling it in your body. And then for your Spirit, oh, you got it. I wondered who was going to get it. I always do that. So I have a whole bunch of decks, but I also have decks of separated majors, like so where I separate the minor and the major arcana, and I keep a set amount of decks of just major cards. And in this deck, the two cards that are different are the Faith card and the Tree of Life. The Tree of Life is probably my favorite in the whole deck because it represents something beyond the arcana. It represents the hand of fate, or, you know, God, or the all, whatever you want to call it. And I call this the card that represents divine intervention and assistance. So the way that this could show up for you on a spiritual level, you could have some sort of contact this over these next couple of days. You could have a dream, a message, or a feeling that really hits home, that really kind of says to you, this is what you're supposed to do. And it will be very definitive. It's, you know, when it's such an interruption, it's usually very powerful and sometimes really kind of like, ooh, you know, startling. When it comes to your intuition, again, you could be getting some sort of amazing insight or download of information. You could be seeing a project fully formed in your mind and how it comes about. Love it. And then for your the wisdom that you are looking for will come through a Queen of Pentacles. So over these next couple of days, pay attention to your earth sign people, because one of them's gonna, you know, and sometimes you know it's like that, you know, you're speaking to someone, they drop some really profound shit and you're like, and then they just go back to whatever they're doing like it didn't even, do you know what I mean? And that's how you know it was, you know, it was something else or something other. I've had a few of those in my life, like moments where I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Where did you get that from? And they're like, meh, you know, and they just go about whatever they're doing. And you're like, yeah, okay, that was a message. Capricorn, in your mind, you have the Six of Pentacles. So this is a time, Capricorn, for you to start really thinking about whether that you... these next couple of days are really going to highlight to you whether you're utilizing all of the skills that you have. Do you have a degree that you just haven't used since you left college or university? Do you have a certificate in A, B, and C that you've never touched since, you know, since you stopped studying? As your mood over this next couple of days, you could be seeing some stuff that feels really unfair to you, Capricorn. And if that is the case, the best way for you to deal with this is to find something that you can steer, not control, steer. That's going to be really, really important for you. And when it comes to your insight, yeah, I mean, this is going to show you. It's going to show you what skills you're using and what skills you're really not. And the reason that I think that's important for you at the moment is because Capricorns are going for a big shift when it comes to home, when it comes to work. Those two, and those are two things that are quite important to Capricorn. So, we're going to see movement there. When it comes to your body, wow, look at that. You got the sun card. You got the sun card, baby. All right, so when it comes to your body, when it comes to your fortune, this could be a couple of days where you feel like you have more energy, but it might be also a time where you feel like there's so much to get done that you're not sure if the reserve of energy that you have is going to get you through it. I would say that it absolutely will. Remember, the sun card is the lightest, brightest, most powerful card in the deck. So we love it, we love it, we love it. When it comes to your fortune, I think this could be over the next couple of days. You could either find an advert for a job, or you may be asked for something that ends up being, there could be some sort of, what's the word? There could be some responsibility that's put on your plate sort of all of a sudden over the next couple of days, and you're like, at first you're like, oh crap, what, another thing? But I would say pay attention to who's watching at this time, or not pay attention to who's watching, pay attention to what you're doing and do a good job, because whoever it is that is kind of watching could end up being able to really make some sort of change for you. This could really help you get ahead. Your instinct over the next couple of days is just going to be to enjoy, to have more fun, to have a lighter experience of life. That would be a really good time to do so. This would be a really good time to do so. And then for your spirit, you have the High Priestess. All right, so listen to your intuition over these next couple of days. If you feel, like a really good example, one of my sisters, when she found the job, she said, I don't know, I just felt to have a look. And when she was going through the thing, she found this amazing job, and it was like there were 2 days left. 2 days left before the closing date. And she said, I wasn't looking for anything. I literally just had a feeling or a thought to go and do this, or to start looking at the job boards, and bam, there it was. Pay attention to your intuition over these next couple of days, because this could be really pointing you in a direction that is absolutely for you. Thank you so much for all of your super chats, guys. It really means a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you for your intuition and your wisdom. This is a time to trust yourself, Capricorn, like never before, right? This is a time for you to really trust yourself. These next couple of days are a moment for you to really say, okay, you know what, self, you know what, intuition, we're going to rock this. Let's do it. For Aquarius, in your mind, you have the 8 of Cups. I can attest to this because I'm kind of already feeling it. There are moments where I'm just completely checked out. I'm just like, off in a reverie. And I think it's because, little moment of divulgence here. I love what I do. But at this point of the year, just before we're winding it all down, I am very aware that I've been burning very bright, very hot the whole year. I've really, really pushed myself this year. And at points, I did have moments where I was like, yeah, I've bitten off more than I can chew. I have no intention of slowing down, of course. There's way too much to do before we get to the new year. So, but yeah, this makes sense to me. So Aquarius, as you come through this next couple of days, with that 8 of Cups in your mind, this could see you really having moments where you just step out, where you're just like, okay, you know what, I can't deal with this at the moment. I'm not focusing here. What is it that I'm ready to start chucking out? And in a lot of ways, this could be you going through the mental closet. It could see you asking yourself, okay, you know what? What are the things that I'm ready to release now? What are the things that I'm ready to let go of or to move beyond? What I would also say as well, when it comes to your mood, this could see you really asking yourself over the next couple of days, okay, where is that do you know what I mean? Like, where is it that I'm ready to, what's the word? Where is it that I'm ready to go beyond? You know, where is it that I'm ready to start heading towards what I actually want now instead of constantly running away from what I don't? You know, this could be a time where that shows up for you. And as an insight, it's going to be over this next couple of days that you really need to check in with your feelings, because it's going to highlight to you where it is that you're, what's the word? Yeah, it's going to highlight to you where it is that maybe some of the connections that you have are either not, you can't see the top one. You mean this one? Um, I'm not sure. I mean, all of the cards are showing on the screen. Yeah, so Aquarius, that's the mind. When it comes to the body, you have the Seven of Wands. This next couple of days could be quite rough on the old immune system. So, you know, all of your ginger, your garlic, your herbs, look after yourself. I drink fennel tea like it's going out of fashion, and every other day at least every other day I put a couple of drops of oregano oil in it. I will once every 2 or 3 days chew a whole piece of, like a whole, maybe about a thumb piece of ginger, just to help, like, to, you know, boost that up. When it comes to the fortune, Aquarius, this is a time to really ask yourself, you sure you're not a Pisces? I think in a progress chart, I'm in a Pisces period, aren't I? That would make sense. With your Seven of Wands there, right? This kind of suggests that on a physical level, on an instinctual level as well, you are going to really be understanding how you show up for yourself. And, you know, Aquarius as a sign is fairly non-confrontational. However, if they're presented with a challenge and it maybe not threatens but challenges what they truly fundamentally believe, oh, you got a problem. You know, if you approach an Aquarius in a place like that, or from a space like that, you'll get it with both barrels, and you'll see, like, oh, okay, so this humanitarian person has just suddenly become like a crazy, you know, crazed wild monster beast. You know, that's Aquarians, you know. On an instinct level, yeah, look after your physical self. And because it's coupled with your Eight of Cups, this would be a moment over these next couple of days as the moon comes through Aries. This would be a moment for you to really decide where you're willing to fight for yourself, what battle you are ready to have for yourself, how you're ready to really start to show up for yourself, right? In the spirit. Oh, yes. We got the Sun card. I'll take that. I'll take that all day long. Love it. What this is kind of saying to you, Aquarius, is now is the time that you really need to start not only, you know, not even just building the connection, right, but allowing that connection to shine through. If there are things or messages that you get that you feel like you really need to deliver, this would be a time to do so, right? This would be a time to share those things that maybe you hold on to quite often, or share those things that maybe you're, you know, we're known as quirky and zany, right? So embrace that. As an intuition card, and even as a wisdom card, this is asking you to tap into that spirit within you that has a youthful energy to it. It's asking you to tap into that, you know what, I can, you know, dance like an idiot and laugh like a fool, and you know what, I don't care what anybody else thinks of me because of it. This is about discovering your freedom, Aquarius, but it's about discovering your freedom not only to be yourself, but to present yourself. You know, like very often Aquarius is kind of like, you know, they're happy to work behind the scenes and not necessarily be out there. I'm an Aquarius sun, but I'm a Leo ascendant, so, you know, it's somewhat at odds, because I'm like, haha, with my theatrical self. All right, Pisces, for your mind, you have the Nine of Pentacles. This is about you tapping into that beauty, and it's about you really saying to yourself, you know what? I can acknowledge my hard work. I can acknowledge the beauty in all that I bring to the table. And I think over these next couple of days, this is going to be really important for you. I think maybe highlighting this to somebody else, maybe a boss, maybe a friend, maybe a sibling, maybe a social circle. This is about you owning yourself and saying, actually, you know what? There's a lot about me that isn't celebrated, so I'm gonna celebrate it. I'm gonna love on me, right? This is about showing other people how to love on you by doing it yourself first. And as an insight, this could show you where maybe you've been working too hard. Maybe maybe you need a little bit of a break. Maybe you need to take a moment for yourself. Maybe you need to do some self-pampering, or maybe just stop, take a breath, and enjoy the moments that you're having at the moment. That's just as powerful as anything else. Just finished a cup of ginger tea. Gotta go have it. Carol, thanks for coming, sweetheart. Thank you. And thank you for the super chats. For your body, you have the star card. So Aquarius, Pisces, look after your nervous system. All right, this is that moment where you need to look after, if you feel a bit frantic, or if you feel a bit find a physical outlet for it, or find a creative outlet for it. After all, you are a Pisces. What this could also highlight to you as well is where you either need to build a new social circle, or you need to engage with your social circle more. This is about getting out of here and out of that sort of Pisces space and into the world in some respect. This is about launching yourself out there and connecting to more people, even if it is just online. Star card, Aquarius, online, absolutely. When it comes to your fortune, this coupled with the Nine of Pentacles, Pisces, whatever future you are building, I gotta tell you, it's prosperous, right? Whatever future you're building for yourself, there is a fortune and money and prosperity to be made, but there's also a rich connection to yourself and to your loved ones, and that's a big part of it, right? So I love this for you guys. As an instinct, you could be feeling maybe a little bit isolated over the next couple of days. So what you really want to do is use your time and your energy to make sure that you connect with people. All right, make sure that you connect with others. No matter what you're feeling, share it with somebody, share it with anybody. And then for your spirit card, you have the Empress. All right. Yeah, love that. This is a time to connect with your people. It's also a time for you to really start speaking about and blowing up your ideas, letting people know what they are. This is about getting obsessed with what you love and creating more of it in your space. Talk about what you love, talk about what you want, talk about what you need, talk about how you can get there, or how one of your friends or your connections or one of your network can help you create that. When it comes to your spirit, excuse me, this is really asking you to nourish and nurture yourself on those deeper sort of inner levels. This is about nourishing and nurturing yourself the way that you nurture and nourish others. This is a time for you to give back to yourself in that way. And when it comes to the spiritual connection that you have, Pisces, this is because I'm reading that. Pisces, this is a moment where you want to connect to the goddess. When I say that word, whatever it means to you, right? When you think of the divine feminine, tap into that energy. I don't care whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whether you're a person, a they, like whatever gender you are or aren't, tap into that goddess energy, because you're going to find something truly beautiful and deep there, and it will be something that truly nourishes your soul. And for a lot of people as well, if you're tapping into that goddess energy, or you need to, or the message is coming through that you need to, the message that comes through from that is ooh, I just got a push in my stomach there. The message that's coming through is that you need to find that space within you that is hallowed. Find that space within you that doesn't belong to anybody else. Pisces is so immersive and so, do you know what I mean, connected to everything else. Find that space within you that is just for you. Find that space within you that is yours and yours alone, and sit in that space and bring that goddess energy into that space with you. All right. And then for your intuition, I think two things are going to happen for Pisces people over these next couple of days. One, it's going to highlight to you where you really are ready to plant a seed, where you're really ready to start with something or move ahead with something. And two, it's going to highlight to a lot of you, especially those of you that are single, just what you want and need from a relationship, or more importantly, who. Okay, so that has been the moon moving through Aries. Let me know, please comment on this video. Let me know how it comes up for you, how it shapes up for you, how it speaks to you. All of these readings with the cards are specifically for the ascendant, but yes, speak to the, have a look at this on your chart. One lady had an amazing idea where she said she wanted to impose this on her chart and see how it spoke to her. I think that's amazing. I obviously can't do it for every sign because it would literally be like a 9-hour video, or I think I said 7 hours last time, but yeah, it would be very, very long and very, very long-winded, but I think it would be great. It would be lovely to do. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of this. There are so many more to come. We're going to be going right through until the 20th of December. Just before, and obviously just before we get into the 21st of December, I will be, for those of you that remember and for those of you that don't, I will be doing the winter solstice alignment session again. So the winter solstice session is a talk about the astrology. We're going to be looking at the human design as well. If you're into human design, I'm going to have an amazing guest for that. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. And I will also be doing a full FLP session. So this isn't going to be on YouTube. It will be something that you have to purchase a seat for, but I promise you the price is very low. It's super affordable for everybody. So if you want to get on that, stay peeled, because I'll be sending an email about it soon, and I will be talking about it here on YouTube. So that has been the moon through Aries. Pay attention to what comes up over the next couple of days, guys. All right, so thank you so much once more. Take care, and I will see you again